My beloved child, don't skip this message. Listen carefully because this story is filled with mystery, emotion, and a revelation that nobody expected. Somewhere, someone has been trying to understand why they cannot stop thinking about you. No matter how busy they become, no matter how hard they try to focus on other things, your presence continues appearing in their thoughts. Stay till the end because what happened next left them speechless and changed the way they looked at this connection forever. One evening, overwhelmed by questions they could not answer, this person began searching for clarity. They wanted to understand why your name seemed to carry so much weight in their heart. They wanted to understand why certain memories involving you felt impossible to forget. The more they searched, the more confused they became. Eventually, they reached a point where they felt they needed someone else's perspective. Listen carefully because this changes everything. In this story, they decided to show your picture to someone they believed might offer insight. The moment they shared it, they waited nervously for an answer. Their heart raced. Their mind filled with questions. They expected something ordinary. They expected a simple opinion. Instead, they heard words that completely shifted their perspective. The person looking at the picture paused for a long moment. Silence filled the room. The atmosphere felt different. Suddenly, the questions that seemed so simple no longer felt simple at all. The person seeking answers felt a wave of anticipation. They sensed that something important was about to be said. Stay till the end because what happened next changed everything. Instead of focusing on predictions, the conversation turned toward something deeper. The focus shifted toward character, growth, and the impact one person can have on another's life. The message was not about controlling the future. It was about recognizing why certain connections feel meaningful. It was about understanding why some people leave impressions that time cannot erase. My beloved child, heaven reveals that the greatest mystery is not whether someone thinks about you. The greatest mystery is why certain connections continue influencing our lives long after they begin. Some people inspire growth. Some inspire courage. Some inspire healing. Their significance is not found in supernatural predictions. Their significance is found in the way they help us become better versions of ourselves. Listen carefully because this next revelation is powerful. The words they heard forced them to reflect on their own feelings. They realized that what they were experiencing was not simply curiosity. It was appreciation. It was respect. It was admiration for qualities they saw in you. The more they reflected, the more they understood that the connection mattered because it had helped shape their perspective. There were moments when they had tried to ignore these feelings. Moments when they convinced themselves that everything was ordinary. Yet every attempt led them back to the same realization. Certain people enter our lives for reasons we do not immediately understand. Their presence teaches lessons. Their influence creates growth. Their memory remains because it carries meaning. Stay till the end because this changes everything. The real revelation was not a prediction about destiny. The real revelation was an understanding about value. They began seeing that what made you important was not mystery. It was authenticity. It was the way you carried yourself. It was the impact your actions and presence had on others. My beloved child, there is wisdom hidden within this message. Be careful of anyone claiming certainty about another person's future, destiny, or hidden spiritual identity. Real relationships are built through trust, communication, respect, and shared experiences. The strongest connections grow through honesty, not through dramatic predictions. What truly matters is how people treat one another in real life. Listen carefully because this next moment is important. The person at the center of this story eventually realized that the answers they were seeking could not come from someone else's interpretation alone. They needed to understand their own heart. They needed to look honestly at their own emotions. They needed to decide what actions, if any, they wanted to take moving forward. And here is the beautiful truth heaven wants you to hear tonight. The reason certain people cannot forget someone is often simpler and more powerful than they imagine. It is because that person inspired growth. They inspired reflection. They inspired change. Their presence became associated with lessons that mattered. So walk forward with confidence, my beloved child. Never allow your worth to depend on predictions, psychics, or dramatic claims. Your value exists because of who you are, not because of what someone says about you. Continue growing. Continue learning. Continue becoming the strongest version of yourself. Because one day, the people who truly appreciate you will not need a prediction to recognize your value. They will see it through your actions, your character, your kindness, and your strength. And that realization will be far more meaningful than any mystery could ever be. The ending of this story is not fear. The ending is understanding. The ending is not superstition. The ending is self-awareness. And the ending is a reminder that genuine connections are built through truth, respect, and authentic human experience. That is where real meaning lies, and that is where the most beautiful stories begin. My beloved child, don't skip this message. Listen carefully because the story is becoming even more intense now. The person at the center of this mystery thought they were searching for answers about you, but they were not prepared for how deeply the experience would affect them. What started as curiosity slowly became something much more powerful. Stay till the end because what happened next forced them to confront feelings they had been avoiding for a very long time. After that conversation, they could not stop thinking. The words they heard continued echoing in their mind. They replayed every memory involving you. Every conversation. Every smile. Every moment that once seemed small suddenly appeared larger than before. It was as if they were seeing the connection through completely different eyes. What they had dismissed as coincidence began feeling significant. Listen carefully because this changes everything. For the first time, they stopped asking, "Why am I thinking about this person?" and started asking, "Why have I been trying so hard not to admit what I feel?" That question shook them. It forced them to look honestly at emotions they had hidden behind excuses, distractions, and fear. The truth was becoming impossible to ignore. There were nights when they sat alone, reflecting on everything that had happened since the day they met you. Certain memories stood out more than others. Moments they thought they had forgotten suddenly returned with incredible clarity. They remembered details that made no logical sense to remember. Yet somehow, those details remained alive inside them. Stay till the end because what happened next changed everything. As they reflected, they began noticing a pattern. During difficult moments in their life, thoughts of you often appeared unexpectedly. During moments of uncertainty, memories involving you seemed to bring comfort. During moments of self-doubt, something about remembering your presence helped them regain perspective. This realization caught them completely off guard. My beloved child, heaven reveals that sometimes people become important to us for reasons we do not immediately understand. Not because of destiny written in stone. Not because of mysterious predictions. But because they awaken something meaningful inside us. They remind us of who we are. They inspire growth. They challenge us to become stronger, wiser, and more authentic. Listen carefully because this next revelation is powerful. The person in this story began realizing that the real mystery was not about you. The real mystery was about themselves. Why had they been afraid to acknowledge their feelings? Why had they spent so much time pretending certain emotions did not exist? Why had they convinced themselves that silence was safer than honesty? The more they searched for answers, the more they discovered that fear had been standing in their way. Fear of rejection. Fear of disappointment. Fear of vulnerability. Those fears had kept them from expressing what they truly felt. Yet the longer they remained silent, the heavier those unspoken emotions became. Stay till the end because this changes everything. One evening, they reached a turning point. They realized that avoiding their feelings was no longer bringing peace. Ignoring their emotions was not making them disappear. The truth remained. The memories remained. The connection remained. No matter how much time passed, those things continued existing. My beloved child, there is a lesson hidden here for everyone listening. Real courage is not pretending you do not care. Real courage is being honest with yourself. It is acknowledging your emotions without allowing them to control you. It is recognizing what matters while remaining grounded in reality. That is where true strength is found. Listen carefully because the story is approaching a powerful revelation. The walls this person built around their heart are beginning to crack. The silence that once protected them is beginning to feel heavier than honesty. The questions that once haunted them are leading them toward a deeper understanding of themselves. Something is changing inside them. Something is awakening. Something is pushing them toward a truth they can no longer ignore. The answers they thought they were seeking about you are becoming answers about their own heart. But the biggest revelation is still ahead. In the next chapter, heaven reveals the truth this person has been hiding from themselves, the emotional realization that changed everything, and the reason they are closer than ever to speaking honestly about what they feel. Stay till the end, my beloved child. The most powerful part of this story has not yet been revealed. My beloved child, don't skip this part. Listen carefully because the story has now reached the moment where everything begins to change. For so long, this person searched outside themselves for answers. They looked for signs. They looked for explanations. They looked for someone to tell them what their heart was trying to say. Yet the answer they were seeking had been quietly waiting inside them the entire time. Stay till the end because what heaven is revealing now is the truth they can no longer avoid. After weeks of reflection, they found themselves returning to the same realization again and again. No matter how many distractions they created, no matter how many times they convinced themselves to move on, your memory continued finding its way back into their thoughts. At first, they viewed this as a mystery. Later, they viewed it as a coincidence. But eventually, they were forced to admit that neither explanation felt complete. Listen carefully because this changes everything. The truth they had been avoiding was not about you. It was about the impact you had on their life. Somewhere along the way, they began associating your presence with growth, hope, and possibility. Certain conversations stayed with them because they arrived at exactly the right time. Certain memories remained because they carried meaning beyond the moment itself. What seemed ordinary on the surface had become deeply significant beneath it. There were nights when they questioned themselves. Why does this still matter? Why do these memories remain so vivid? Why does this connection continue feeling important? The more honestly they examined those questions, the harder it became to deny the answer. They cared more than they had ever admitted. Perhaps not in the dramatic way they once imagined, but in a sincere, meaningful, and deeply personal way. Stay till the end because what happened next changed everything. One evening, they stopped running from their emotions. They stopped pretending indifference. They stopped convincing themselves that silence was strength. For the first time, they simply accepted the truth. They accepted that some people leave a lasting impression. They accepted that some connections matter. They accepted that not every meaningful feeling needs to be explained away. My beloved child, heaven reveals that acceptance is often the beginning of peace. The moment people stop fighting reality, they gain clarity. The moment they stop hiding from their emotions, they gain understanding. This person had spent so much energy trying not to feel something that they never realized how exhausting the struggle had become. Listen carefully because this next revelation is powerful. The more they accepted their feelings, the more they realized that fear had been controlling them. Fear of rejection. Fear of vulnerability. Fear of saying something that could change everything. Yet they also realized something else. Regret often grows where honesty never had the chance to exist. There is someone listening to this message who understands exactly what that feels like. You know what it means to replay conversations in your mind. You know what it means to wonder what would have happened if someone had spoken honestly. You know what it means to carry questions that never received answers. Heaven wants you to know that clarity begins when truth is allowed to breathe. Stay till the end because this changes everything. The person in this story is beginning to understand that they cannot keep carrying the weight of unspoken emotions forever. Whether they choose to express themselves or simply learn from the experience, something inside them is shifting. The walls are falling. The excuses are fading. The truth is becoming impossible to ignore. My beloved child, there is also wisdom hidden within this message. Not every strong feeling requires immediate action. Sometimes the lesson is simply understanding yourself better. Sometimes growth comes from recognizing what matters to you. Sometimes healing comes from admitting what your heart has known all along. These realizations have value regardless of how the story unfolds. Listen carefully because the story is approaching its greatest turning point. This person is standing at a crossroads. One path leads back into silence. The other leads toward honesty. One path preserves comfort. The other creates possibility. For the first time, they are seriously considering what it would mean to stop hiding and start speaking from the heart. Something is awakening inside them. Something is encouraging courage over fear. Something is reminding them that life moves forward, and opportunities do not wait forever. The answers they once searched for are becoming clearer every day. But the most powerful revelation is still waiting ahead. In the final chapter, heaven reveals the emotional truth this person finally accepts, the choice that transforms their journey, and the beautiful ending that turns uncertainty into peace, gratitude, and a hopeful new beginning. Stay till the end, my beloved child. The best part of this story is still to come. My beloved child, if you have stayed until this moment, then listen carefully. This is the final chapter. This is where fear begins to lose its power, where unanswered questions begin finding peace, and where a journey filled with uncertainty finally reaches a beautiful understanding. Stay till the end because the ending of this story is not about mystery anymore. It is about truth, growth, courage, and the realization that some connections enter our lives to teach us lessons that last forever. For so long, this person carried emotions they did not fully understand. They searched for answers in signs, opinions, and outside voices. They hoped someone else could explain what their heart was trying to tell them. Yet every path eventually led back to the same place. Back to the memories. Back to the lessons. Back to the impact that this connection had left on their life. The more they reflected, the more they realized that the answer had never been outside of them. It had always been within. Listen carefully because this changes everything. The emotional truth they finally accepted was simple. They stopped denying that the connection mattered. They stopped pretending that certain memories were insignificant. They stopped convincing themselves that their feelings were merely imagination. Instead, they acknowledged the reality that some people arrive in our lives and leave a mark that time cannot easily erase. There were moments when they wished they had spoken sooner. Moments when they wished they had been more honest. Moments when they wondered whether fear had caused them to miss opportunities. Yet heaven reveals that regret does not have to become the ending of the story. Regret can become a teacher. It can encourage courage. It can inspire people to live more honestly moving forward. Stay till the end because what happened next changed everything. Instead of focusing on what they could not change, they began focusing on what they could learn. They realized that this journey had helped them grow. It had taught them the value of honesty. It had taught them the importance of self-awareness. It had taught them that meaningful connections deserve appreciation rather than avoidance. My beloved child, heaven reveals that the greatest gift this person received was clarity. Not certainty about every detail of the future. Not a perfect answer to every question. But clarity about themselves. Clarity about what they value. Clarity about the kind of relationships they want to build. Clarity about the importance of expressing genuine feelings before opportunities pass by. Listen carefully because this next revelation is powerful. Real love is not built on fear. Real love is not built on endless guessing. Real love grows through trust, communication, respect, and authenticity. Whether a connection becomes a lifelong relationship or simply an unforgettable lesson, its value comes from the growth it inspires. There is someone listening to this message who needs to hear this truth tonight. Stop waiting for perfect certainty before you allow yourself to live fully. Stop believing that every answer must arrive before you can move forward. Life unfolds one step at a time. Relationships unfold one conversation at a time. Growth unfolds one lesson at a time. The future does not require perfection. It requires courage. Stay till the end because this changes everything. The person in this story finally understood that holding on to fear was costing more than taking a chance on honesty. They realized that even if the outcome was uncertain, living truthfully would bring more peace than carrying endless, what-if, questions. That realization freed them. It allowed them to move forward with confidence instead of hesitation. My beloved child, the beautiful ending of this story is not about a dramatic prediction. It is about transformation. The person who once searched desperately for answers discovered something greater than answers. They discovered wisdom. They discovered self-understanding. They discovered the courage to stop hiding from their own heart. And here is the message heaven wants you to hear tonight. Every meaningful connection teaches something valuable. Some teach us patience. Some teach us healing. Some teach us courage. Some teach us how deeply we are capable of caring. No experience is wasted when it helps us become wiser and more compassionate human beings. One day, whether through a conversation, a new opportunity, or a completely unexpected chapter, life will continue. Moving forward. New memories will be created. New lessons will be learned. New possibilities will appear. And when that happens, the growth from this journey will travel with you. The wisdom you gained will guide you. The courage you discovered will strengthen you. So walk forward with peace, my beloved child. Continue growing. Continue learning. Continue trusting yourself. Let honesty guide your relationships. Let gratitude guide your memories. Let hope guide your future. The chapters ahead are still unwritten, and some of the most beautiful moments of your life may still be waiting just around the corner. The ending of this story is not fear. The ending is courage. The ending is not confusion. The ending is understanding. The ending is not loss. The ending is growth. And as this chapter closes, heaven's message is simple: trust the lessons, treasure the growth, and step into the future knowing that every meaningful connection has helped shape the strong, wise, and hopeful person you are becoming. The story ends with peace, gratitude, and the promise of brighter days ahead.